What up, everyone? K-Rugs, the Sober Dog, coming at you. And I got a special guest for Solitary Month, someone who's been there and lived it. Jen Cutting is with me from her channel. You got to check her out. She's got awesome videos about addiction, recovery, prison, everything. Jen, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. So I was looking for people to reach out to a couple weeks ago, and I've always seen your videos, and one of your good friends, Jessica Kent, does all the videos too. And we got to talk a little bit, and you've obviously done time. Can you give us a little background on, why you went in, where you're from, all that type of stuff?
Absolutely. So I currently live in Delaware County, New York, and that's where I caught my last set of charges that led to my incarceration. I was sentenced to 3 years in prison, 2 years post-release. I'm currently still navigating community supervision. Hopefully, the universe aligns it, and on Christmas Eve, I get my merit date. This is my second one that I'm going for. So my husband is also on parole. Together, my husband and I, we have 5 children, and we are both in recovery from a multitude of things, but most recently methamphetamines. I just celebrated 3 years sober. I went to prison originally on 2 sealed, well, they were unsealed, but obviously 2 sealed indictments of methamphetamine sales. Someone who was living with me set me up, her and her sister and her mother set me up and did sealed buys on me to get out of the trouble they were in, typical snitch type of,
yeah,
everybody knows the deal, and in one sense, I still to this day am working on forgiveness because I don't understand how someone could do that to somebody else, but also gratitude because I'm alive today because of it. When I got incarcerated, I was 82 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, I was dying.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's from all day, multiple times a day meth use, right?
Well, yeah, I was selling methamphetamines. Like my husband and I were actually just talking about it the other day. Like he didn't even realize how much we were really selling, how much money we were making, what was going on. Because, when you're in that chaotic of a state, like you don't trust anyone. You don't trust, shit, you barely trust yourself, So I would put a gram in the pipe every time. Every time.
Wow. That is incredible. Wow.
Yeah,
I don't have a ton of experience with meth at all, so I'm always fascinated to hear about it. That's something we could probably get into a lot deeper at a different time, but that's incredible. So when you got arrested, you were 82 pounds, you went into jail. Did you have any idea at that point, like the amount of trouble you were going to do 3 years, or? I
had no clue. So meth just is, I've had my, a couple of days ago, I actually just celebrated 11 years clean from heroin. So I've done a multitude, I've done a multitude of different types of drugs in my life, but methamphetamines by far is the absolute craziest. The delusional state you go into. I really just thought okay, they're going to set a bail and I'm going to get bailed out or I'm going to get ROR'd and, whatever.
It started as a bench warrant.
Right. Okay. Yeah. My husband just reminded me. So how the original came to my house, they said I had a bench warrant.
Oh, wow.
And I never had a bench warrant. And then that's how they came into my house. They arrested everybody in my house that day. The cops, so how I got into jail actually is one Friday afternoon. To us, it was morning. We were still asleep, because we didn't go to sleep till 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock every morning.
Yeah.
Meth is definitely a nighttime drug, if you will.
Yeah.
Like a wild ride.
So, okay. So I heard the dog barking. I got up, I looked at my daughter's bedroom and I saw 3 cop cars lined up in the street. And I was like, holy shit, there's cops here. Yeah. So I went inside, I woke my husband up, and as my husband was getting up and getting dressed, one of the girls who snitched on me, she was like, oh my God, there's cop cars all up and down the driveway, because her bedroom window looked up down the driveway. There was 4 cop cars up the driveway. And then when my husband got to the window upstairs to look out the bathroom window to tell them we'll be right there, because that was above the door where they were knocking. Yeah. There was another 4 cars in the driveway. And I was like, who killed somebody?
Yeah. I know.
Like we were like axe murderers or something. And so my husband goes and he lets them in. They arrest him for obstruction of governmental property, saying that he basically was like, you know, impeding upon them finding me. When he opened the door, he was like, "Can I help you?" He had on a shirt, he had on pants, no shirt, no shoes, no socks, no nothing. They cuffed him right then and there and threw him in the back of the van. Like, how did he impede upon anything? He opened the door for you.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, I feel like in this area, they use that charge quite often when they have nothing else and they just want to take everybody to jail. It's like their fallback.
Wow.
Yeah, so one of our runners was there and he was literally in the bathroom taking a piss. Like our bedroom wall and the bathroom wall upstairs have the same wall. And it's an old house, you know, there's not a lot of insulation. You could hear him peeing. Like you could quite clearly hear him peeing, right? I hear them go in there. They're like, "Stop flushing the drugs." And he's like, I'm not. They pull him out into the hallway to cuff him, pants down. Didn't even pull his pants up, nothing. And I'm like, oh my God. They pull me out. They have me up against the wall. I had on a t-shirt. I was like, "Can I put pants and shoes on?" Like I had a t-shirt. I had no bra, no panties, no nothing. And finally, like the guy was like, "Absolutely not, da, 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 da." And one of the other guys was like, "We need to let her put some clothes on." Like
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. They came after me like I don't even know. Like it was crazy.
You guys are like Pablo Escobar there. They brought the whole cavalry.
Like it was nutty. So at the time,
Pablo's money.
Yeah, I know. It was Pablo's money.
Yeah.
But at the time, like when we first got involved in methamphetamines over in our area, the only things that were happening were heroin and cocaine. I hate cocaine. My husband has loved cocaine forever and a day. And then finally I found meth and I was like, "We ain't doing cocaine no more. We about this meth." So I just got lucky. That was another thing that I loved about the meth world. In this area, it was run primarily by women.
Really?
Yeah. It was like the good old girls club. There were times they would be like, "You can come, but your husband can't." Like, and then after I got to know them, I'd be like, I can't hang out here with an hour and like cut up and smoke and hang out. My husband's in the car. Like at the time he was my boyfriend, you know? And they were like, "All right, fine. We'll let him in just because of you." Like every big dealer that I met, every contact, everyone that was everything, except for this one dude. It was all women. It was amazing. And that made my hustle even harder.
Yeah, that is fascinating.
It is.
Wow.
It truly is.
Yeah. Tell me about so actual prison and your experience in there. You know, was there any drug use, and then what ended up? I guess both, and then what ended up landing you in keep lock or solitary, and if you want to explain keep locking for people that don't know.
Okay, so I did lock in both county and prison. So when I got into county, I honestly, like thinking about back hindsight, like in all sincerity, I don't remember like a lot about the first few days. I think I really slept a lot. A couple months into it, making friends with some corrections officers there, they told me they used to do like a 15-minute check on me because they were afraid they were going to go by and I was going to be dead because I was that small and that, deteriorated of a state. One of the officers there, she was the one who did my strip search when I came in. And then a couple months later, she had to do one again. She goes, "If I could hug you, I would hug you." She goes, "I'm so happy to see how much weight you've gained and you look so much better." So the first couple of days, I think I really just slept. They wouldn't let me make a phone call. I remember that. They wouldn't even give me pen and paper to write on. I needed to write things down so I remembered them when we went to court. Yeah. And I had like a golf pencil. And they gave me like a set of like rules that I had to read to abide by. Excuse me. And I had to write on that paper. I remember that so clear. And I remember thinking to myself, like I could hardly even hold the pencil. Like it was just, I was just that weak and that in that bad of a point in my life. I was that sick. My addiction was truly killing me, and I didn't even realize it. And then we came in on a Friday. We had court on Tuesday. We had court on Halloween. And I just thought to myself, like, we're going to get out. We're going back to Masonville. The judge is going to realize, like, it's not so bad. We're good people. And they're going to let us out. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. We get to court, and they're, like, screaming at me, don't talk to Jared. Don't talk to Jared. And I'm like, the fuck do you mean don't talk to Jared? What do you mean? Like, I don't even know where my kid is. Don't talk to Jared. Yeah. Like, so he and I are talking, and the officer is, like, whispering in my ear, like, I'm going to make you regret this when we get back, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, okay, lady, like, I'm going home. I don't know what you're talking about.
We were talking in the van.
We were talking in the van on the way there and on the way back. Like, we're talking in the van. I haven't seen him. We got ripped out of each other. We literally got out of bed, ripped out of each other. Like, what do you mean don't talk to him?
I know.
So
They're going to...
in the van with my runner, my I don't even know what she was, waste of space. She, like, literally, like, was supposed to, like, put the dishes away from the machine and, like, you know, help get my daughter on and off the bus, and she ended up snitching me out, but whatever. And my boyfriend, who I'd been with at that time, it was like 3 years, don't talk to him. What are you talking about? Mm-hmm. So we get to court, and it turns out everybody has $1,000 bail except me. I have a $2,000 bail. Now, normally, like, if Jared had gotten arrested or anybody else, I would always bail them out immediately. But because I got locked up, no one had any ability to get bailed out. So I'm trying to explain to everybody where money's hidden, where this is, where that is. Nobody could find anything. I did not know that certain members of in our neighborhood and of Jared's family had gone in and robbed us the minute we got locked up. So anyway, we had to take care of ourselves and bail ourselves out was gone. So on the way back to court, I can't even, like, I'm just in shock that we're going back.
Yeah.
So we get back, and literally on Veterans Day, 2017, I think I'm getting bailed out because I get brought back down to the main office of the, like, where you come in from the jail.
Sure.
And I was getting bailed out. I was getting new charges.
Oh.
So, like, they put me in, like, the little holding cell, and I'm like, all right, cool. They're going to bring me my clothes next.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the detective comes over and pops my door, and I'm like, fuck's sake. And he's got papers in his hand. He's like, you know why you're down here? I said, well, I don't know the details, but I have a pretty good idea. And he's like, I need you to look these over. And I was like, fuck my life. Not one, but 2 sealed indictments. I was like, what? And then it says right there on the bottom, I looked for, like, the bail amount. No bail, no bail, no bail. And I'm like, guess I'm staying for Christmas.
Wow. That sucks.
Oh, does it? So not only was that the worst, like 48 hours later, I get served with all these tickets from talking to Jared in the van. She hit me with the craziest of tickets. Mind you, I'm still high. You know what I mean? Yeah. I haven't been smoking that much meth for a year and a half, all day, every day, that I come into jail and I'm sober and have my wits about me. I don't even realize where I am at first. Like, I just wanted another peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah.
Like, my husband, we're down in intake, and my husband, they're like, you want your sandwich? And my husband's like, no. And he's like, can I give it to her, though? They're like, no sharing food. Like, it was just a crazy, they're just shitty.
Remember when before I got bailed out, freaking, they had dogs come in and the pot I was in. Yeah. There was so much meth coming out of my body, the dogs indicated
this is what's crazy. Yeah, can you hear him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So he literally, every cell that they went to that he was in, they brought the dogs in, the dog indicated, because that's how much methamphetamines was coming out of his system.
Just sweating out and on, holy crap, that is incredible.
It was coming out of my tear ducts. There was so much of it.
That's how much, I mean, when I smoked an obscene amount of methamphetamines every day, it was crazy. So I get all these tickets, and I'm like, this is a joke. I'm like, I'll plead my case, and I'll, like, you know, I'll get like 48 hours in lock. They hit me with 30 days. 30 days, okay? I'm like, holy shit, that's crazy. They're locking me in for Thanksgiving, Christmas. Like, it was crazy. Thinking back now, I mean, now I can really see how inhumane it was. I was detoxing. My mental health was not what it should have been by far. And now you put me in this crazy place. I have not been able to contact my daughter. I don't know what's going on with her. At the time, she was only 5 years old. She was in kindergarten.
Wow.
And now you're locking me in with no privileges whatsoever.
So when you say tickets, you're talking for the write-ups for the prison or jail jail at this point, infractions.
Correct.
Yeah, not outside tickets. Okay, yeah.
Right.
And then
inside inter-jail misbehavior reports, however you want to put it.
Yeah.
But you have to understand the jail around here is run extremely, insanely
strict.
It's
super strict.
Like you have to have your number on your pen.
Yes.
Like you can't read somebody else's paper. I actually got a ticket while I was in there for reading somebody else's paper.
So listen. So while I'm while I'm locked in for talking at court, okay, she gave me like disobeying a direct order, disrespect. Like they went hardcore with it. I don't have my glasses.
Yeah.
So I'm locked in. So our lock-in is obviously in a concrete, cement cinder block room. And then the room that you're actually locked in is inside a greenhouse. And by greenhouse, they have like an extended roof and doorway that's all glass as well. So you're in a room inside of a room. Now they don't keep the lights on over the dining room, this officer, and the clock is all the way about 100 feet across from where I am. So now I'm looking through a glass door to look through a window to try and see in the dark across the room to see the clock. I think it says 9:15. 9 o'clock, we can go under our blankets. It's really 8:15. I get under my blankets and I go to sleep. I don't have my glasses on, I cannot see, and it's dark. They write me for another fucking 30 days for that ticket. The same officer. They don't give me a hearing. They don't let me speak to anybody to plead my case. Like, I don't have my glasses. If you would let me out to make a phone call, I could request somebody bring my eyeglasses.
Even with that, they shouldn't expect you to ever have to tell the time anyway. If you want me to tell the time, give me a clock in my cell. Like, that's ridiculous that they would even expect you to do that.
Correct. And then the same officer wrote me within 2 weeks of the initial ticket. If that's not being targeted, I don't know what is. So for the females, we don't even get to see an officer to plead our case, guilty, not guilty. They just give you your time. Here you go, this is what you got for this. Here you go, this is what you got for this.
She got a whole
So then I'm in there now I'm 60 days, okay?
Yeah.
While I'm in there, I get 2 more tickets.
Wow, for what?
One I ended up getting 5 days. I don't remember what that one was for, but the last one I actually managed to beat because one of the COs that was on there went to bat for me. So what we do is, in this particular jail, how laundry is done is you do exchanges.
Yeah.
Okay. So you'll put all your laundry in your bag. It'll get picked up on a specific day of the week, and then it gets exchanged. Since I was in lock, they would come to me. They would say, all right, you have like 3 pairs of panties, right? 3 pairs of panties, 3 pairs of socks, white t-shirts, and a jumper. If you had bras, you had to have your own sent in. So I get panties back. I get the 3 pairs of panties back, and 1 pair is not acceptable. It should have been thrown in the trash. We'll just say that. So I say this to the officer, and she goes, oh my God, she says, let me get you another pair. So now she said, on my next round, I'll take the dirty ones. I don't have any gloves on. I don't want to take the dirty ones, the stained ones. I said, all right. I go and I lay down. She does her thing. I don't know. She never pops my door, never asks me for the panties. It's not top priority in my life. The next morning I get picked for cell search. One of the officers that just cannot stand me, right away, oh, got one, got a ticket. You have 4 pairs of panties in here. I said, ma'am, it's not like I have access to go anywhere and take anything. Tried to write me for another ticket, tried to hit me with another 30 days.
Wow. But the first one came and went to bat for you.
She did. After her being gone for like 2 days, she was like, that was my fault. She was like, I didn't come back and collect them. She was telling the truth, because not only did she try and hit me she tried to hit me for lying. She tried to hit me for thievery, for stealing panties that I don't even know how I would steal because I was locked in. So at that time in 2018 came January 1st, New York state law passed that you cannot be in solitary confinement for more than 30 days in a row. If you fit like certain mental health crisis and this and that. For shoe, it's different because they're different laws. But for keep lock, this was put into effect. So I got immediate release out of it. They had to come and let me out. I had done 65 days. I think I had like 14 more to do. This is how hard they hit me on all these tickets.
That's unbelievable.
When I got incarcerated, I was out inside the jail for 3 days and then went directly into lock.
Wow. That is exactly like what I wanted to do with this whole month, is talk about all the people that are being sent to keep lock in solitary for these non-violent minor infractions everywhere.
I mean, you can't get any more non-violent than me talking to my co-defendants at court.
Yeah, or you know, lying, having an extra pair of panties. These are unbelievably stupid and minor things. It's
your mom.
How did like being in there for those 60 plus days affect you, mental health?
It had its pluses and its minuses. And I say this for a lot of reasons. It gave me a lot of time to reflect on myself, and I did a lot of journaling, and I did a lot of planning for my future. I mean, I wrote down, so I would go to every church service available, and Pastor Derek, I mention him often in my videos, he met with me once a week for like an hour, and we talked about a lot of things, and he would bring me in books, and because they would allow them. Like, I was able to really think about a lot of things, but as far as my mental health, I had never felt so alone in my entire life. Mm-hmm. At the time, Jared was out. He had gotten released, and he was still getting high. So he wasn't about to sit down and write me a letter. He was still acting in his addiction. So it really put a huge strain on our relationship. When he was able to be clear enough and managed to get a ride up an hour away to where the jail was to come see me, because I was in solitary, because I was in lock, I had to visit with him through glass.
Oh, that's
I wasn't allowed to have a regular visit.
And because
because he had already been in jail, the jail.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. Like anything extra that they could have done to torture me and fuck with my mental health, they did. It was just horrible. It was absolutely horrible. And it just, we'd go to church. They'd make me walk last behind all the girls. I couldn't talk to anybody. I couldn't sit next to anyone. I ate all my meals alone. Everything was alone. You took someone who was detoxing from one of the worst drugs in the world and put them in a hole by themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
It was so cold in my cell that at one point in time, I actually put a cup of water on my floor, and the next morning we woke up and it was almost frozen. And they still wouldn't switch my cell. I was in the coldest cell in the block.
They had it out for you. Wow.
They're on some torture shit in Delaware County Jail. It is it is rated one of the worst county jails in New York State.